Welcome, dear Kai, to my Book of Light. You are a physical medium, well known, from Germany. Please introduce yourself. No one can do it better than you.
Oh, yes. I mean, since my days of youth, I am facilitating spirituality in a specific way and form. It's the form of spiritual or spirituality manifesting, and it's quite actually something ancient, but for many it is very new. Definitely, it is unique and interesting to be a part of. So yeah, that's me.
That's wonderful, that's wonderful. And there's a lot more to say, and most people know you, of course, all over the world.
I think so.
Not only here in Holland and in Germany.
Now I see.
Hello. So, you can see here maybe on the Zoom all the phones.
Oh, nice.
Kunnen jullie microfoon
Hey guys,
even uitdoen?
good
Dan kunnen
to
jullie
see
even
you.
dag zeggen. En dan zul je hem zo weer even aanzetten, bedoel ik. En dan kun je even dag zeggen.
Hi Kai.
Hey guys, great to see you. Hello.
You see you all.
Yes, I can see you all.
So later on they will have questions for you, I'm sure. And what is amazing is the voice box, because they not always use the voice box. Why shouldn't they? Why couldn't they use always the voice box?
Yeah, it's strange. Also, when we look into the history of spiritualism, it was not really understandable when that voice box was needed and when it was not needed, because the spirits were speaking through the medium, but there's a little difference, of course. It is the direct voice phenomenon.
Yes, that's different. That's something.
But we have a lot of incidents in which we had obviously a direct voice phenomenon with a medium, and there was no need of a voice box at all.
Yes, but sometimes it's different what I read and what I heard. That a voice box, what I know, and please correct me, is the ectoplasm what comes here near the neck, so to speak, from the medium, and sometimes they feel it tickling here and they let it go and it will work for itself. Otherwise, I read that they make a string of the ectoplasm that is strong like iron in a few minutes, and it is totally desired box. It goes in the air, in the darkness, of course, and is used from another spot of the room. So it can be that it is maybe also without a voice box, a direct voice, because this is also something that exists. I read. I never experienced it myself. I hope to experience one day, but it's not yet there.
Yes.
But it's marvelous, and
Yes.
yeah, it's amazing to hear a voice from midair. I've heard that once or twice, but not regularly.
Yeah, maybe we had additional explanations. So the location here is close to it's directly besides the original voice box, and that helps to recreate the original voice box in an ectoplasmic form. And sometimes this voice box is helping itself to stay in this position by the help of a cord. It is a cord-like structure that helps to keep the voice box here. So on the one hand side, it is held by a cord-like structure around the ear, and on the other side, it is held by a little tube. It's a dynamic tube, and this tube is connected with one of the breathing organs of the medium. So through the nose in most kind. This tube is delivering air into this voice box, and with the help of that air, actually the voices and the words can be formed in this little resonance room here. That's why the voices sound a little bit more like coming from a tin or something like that.
Yes.
So more thin voices.
It's amazing, isn't it? You know, I've once heard the voice box coming a voice, and from the medium at the same time. They were quarreling together.
Yeah, that is very rare.
It's amazing.
That's very rare, and I cannot tell you why.
I've heard that.
Because it seems as if the voice box is delivering not more evidence than the direct voice without voice box. So
absolutely.
that would be cool if you had both.
Yes, I have it.
These are the contradictories.
Yes.
Within spiritualism and within manifesting spirituality, these are the contradictories we sometimes stumble upon, right?
Yeah, and it's pity that a lot of mental mediums have problems with this physical mediumship, and I believe this positive thinking where we were talking about in the beginning, that's also the beginning of everything to get more understanding, because if fear is there, how can you learn and how can you get more understanding?
Absolutely.
There is to change your mindset, to be more open.
Yeah.
That gives a possibility, no?
Yeah. And I only can understand this negative stance towards physical mediumship. It is only explainable from a kind of brainwashing they must have going through.
Yes.
And I mean, we know what the big institutionalized schools and so forth were teaching over decades.
Absolutely.
And still, this is the effect.
And still, I believe. I still believe. But to have an open mindset, also to this extremely beautiful form of mediumship, the fear doesn't have to be between it. It just be open and go towards it with love.
Absolutely.
And then you can experience. And of course there's a lot of fraudulent mediums. We know that. But we know that there are genuine mediums as you. They're there. They're out there. And to know this and to experience this, or to experience little things like we do here, it's amazing. And it gives so much, let's say your world is so much lighter. You feel so much connection. It's such a present you get in life. I can't think of anything more, except to my children, of course, and the loved ones around me.
Yeah, of course.
But it is really a totally gift, and we want to feel them close. We sometimes say, don't we, that I look now towards two of our sisters, that we feel angels in our hair. To feel your loved ones tickling in your hair, to touch your arm,
we feel the same.
Give kisses.
We feel the same, and we feel so delighted, Julia and I, who we are so very much, and all our friends and guests who we are all, they are sharing with us, we are sharing with them. So it's a wonderful thing. And in regards to fraudulent mediums, I need to say that today we can be very sure that we have a lot more fraudulent mediums on the side of the mental mediumship as amongst the very few physical mediums. I mean, I know them all. I believe I know them all. Mm-hmm. And a true fraud is nobody of them. They all have true and genuine mediumistic connections. And when a medium is on the stage or in the sounds room for 20 years, for 25 years, sooner or later the moment is coming up when they have to help them out, because they don't want to disappoint the audience. They awake too early from their trance. I don't know, something like that.
Yes.
And when they are being caught, a huge case is made out of it.
Absolutely. And yes, we talked, I know, one of the early videos, because this already I don't know how many videos we did, and there is a lot to talk about with you. We love it all. But there is a lot of negativity, and I want myself to focus on the positive. I believe also while doing that, Spirit give that back to you in a way. I don't know how to say, but it's like what you send out, the energy will connect and come back to you towards. So talking ugly about others that you don't have truly understanding of, I believe, and excuse me for it, is stupid.
Yes, it is.
And so be open and be, of course, you all need to learn about through your own experiences. I don't believe, yes, it's lovely to read about it, but and to an experience if you truly want that, because most of the people don't need that in life. They can have their life purely wonderful without knowing anything of all these kinds of things.
Yeah, that's true. And
so no problem.
And you know, the mediums who talk badly about one another without even knowing them, without even having experienced what is going on, they are withholding themselves from their own development.
Absolutely. You have to have an open mindset to be positive, to experience something. But the fear that they have for something that they do not understand or do not know may bring them, maybe hold them back. And of course, what will the others think of me? How is the world looking at me?
Yes, this is the one side. But all the many mediums, we had thousands of people in our seances, and many of them were mediums, and they have all profited a lot from the experience.
Absolutely.
They have profited a lot, and I would wish all the others who are withholding themselves from making these experiences, because it is at the moment and enriching every form of mediumship you bring in yourself when you participate.
Absolutely.
And it is, what can I do?
Yes, it's like, when I talked to this Dr. Dean Radin, that he said, what is more interesting than our consciousness? And I said to him, nothing. And he says, for me, it's the same. We will have next month a conversation, and I will bring this up again, of course, about you. And it is on all kinds of levels and all kinds of way that you can benaderen, hoe zeg je dat? Come close to these experiences. And most of the time we love when it is repeatable. So if, for example, what I did in the past with the Kokok note, to let it fall down with the own energy of a psychometric field, and after that with the energy of the deceased one in spirit, only with the eyes, and it falls off. I did it a lot of times to make myself believe what happened,
Oh yeah.
But it is out there. It's energy. Thoughts are more powerful than anything, and we can use it for so much good things on the earth. I don't say that I'm a saint and that I do everything as well and that my thoughts are as pure, but I'm trying and learning.
Absolutely, it's the same with me. And maybe one last word to the physical forms of spirituality. In the history of mankind, part of the supernatural was the manifestation. The history of the supernatural is its history of manifestation around us human beings, and that contains the presence of let's say materialized from demons over angels over nature beings, encounters with elves and elves in the Middle Ages, encounters with succubi and incubi, the homunculi of the alchemists, the crying Mother Mary statues, the poltergeists. So they all have manifested physically.
Absolutely.
So what the heck is so is so different? It's exactly the same.
Yes.
With the physical mediums.
And is it strange if I say that even we as humans are are created?
Absolutely.
It's maybe we
are the biggest supernatural manifestation.
Yes, isn't it? And the birds and the bees and
oh yes.
And then the things that we create, like houses and so on. It all starts with the mind and the thoughts. Isn't it?
A very, very necessary addition. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's amazing. We are amazing, yeah?
Oh yeah.
We are.
Human being is extremely amazing.
Yes, we can do so much good in life. And we can do so much bad in life.
Yeah.
We can be like angels or like little devils.
Absolutely. And but still, there are the not fully understand and the not fully understood functionalities of the consciousness.
Yes.
And this is what draws us to the exploration of consciousness, of mediumship, of transpersonal states,
yes.
and the powers we can facilitate via these transpersonal states. So that's why I am in mediumship and not in architecture.
Absolutely, but you would be a marvelous architect, I'm sure, because you have a lot of creative thoughts, and the houses will look beautiful, I believe.
Absolutely, and I love architecture as well. When we travel the cities, sometimes these are the one of the rare impressions I have from cities and countries, driving around from the hotel to the seance room and looking around at what architecture is existing, and that can be very different, and it's very interesting to look at it.
Yes, absolutely, that is so true. So let's stay creative in our minds, and everything will. But the minds, the thoughts, the telepathy, it's a transmitting energy. If the let's say the aliens, or what kind of name you want to give the other beings, or angels and so on, the messages that we receive by trance speaking and so on are a form of telepathy, like the EVPs that I does, like the ITCs. They project it with their minds, sometimes together, with a lot of them together, to bring an image forward or to bring sentences forward. And at the moment, it's like chatting with you. So it's also kind of manifestation.
Definitely. I mean, we can broaden that even to the understanding that through our interconnection with the universe, spirits are speaking all the time through us.
Absolutely.
Every intuition, every spontaneous idea, every dream, even the goals in life can be facilitated by a spiritual presence, and these are spiritual presences.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, we only have to broaden our understanding about spirits, and very quickly we learn everything.
And the oneness that we're part of. Yes, it's amazing. And I think we start, who am I, but in the bigger picture there is coming by a certain amount of people in the world some more understanding. I believe so. It's growing. I believe so.
Yeah,
I want to believe so, and I do believe so,
Yeah. No, usually I would immediately say, yes, you are right. But interestingly, our spirits have warned us, or not warned us. They were talking about that at the moment things we have achieved go broken during that corona worldwide lockdown panic and so forth. And it simply has to do, and it starts simply with the fact that people are distracted, very much distracted and very much insecure, and maybe they have invested all their energy beforehand onto spiritual things, let's say, and they were a powerful spiritual tool for the forces behind us. But at the moment they are so distracted, they are so in sorrow.
Yes, of course. And it's how it always was, doesn't it, in the world? I believe so. Even in the past. It's the way the nature goes. It's awful. I'm so sad about all those deaths. But we are with so many people in the world, aren't we? So many people in the world. And then these kind of things happen. How badly it is. And we feel it for ourselves.
Yeah, you know, in earlier days when catastrophes have happened in earlier days, and these were very rarely, maybe even these were never global events. These were maybe wars in a country, or that was a plague in another country.
Yes,
but this time
it's different. Yeah.
Specifically through the tools we have of information spreading, like the internet and Skype and Zoom and whatnot. This is globally evolving, still very negative development we are in, and I hope we come out soon, of course.
And of course it is a lot of negativity. There is a lot of changes that can be made for the good or the bad. And people don't learn all the time, I know. We have to accept that. But there are chances for the humans.
There are chances, but when I look, for example, in Germany, for example, Siemens, this big company, I don't know if you have heard of Siemens.
Yes, of course, the washing machines and so on.
Oh, exactly. So they will separate 19,000 people. So 19,000 people will lose their jobs following the corona thing, only in Germany. So I honor what you say, but for alone these 19,000, there must be a lot of
sadness. Very much people get poor and on the street. The world is changing.
Yeah.
And not always for the better. No.
Yeah. So what you are saying is right, and it holds our morality up. But what you were saying with the positive, what did you just say with that we have these positive?
There are also there is a lot
chance. Right.
There are chances, and of course people can leave them for what they are. Yeah. And I don't mean so much personal, because personal there is a lot of tragedies going on, and there will be much more of them. And we have to face it. We have to deal with it, and of course it's global. Yeah. Of course that's a big difference, but these catastrophes are all over the world all the time. And very bad, and at the same time we're drinking our coffee and eating our food and ignore it because we can't take everything in because we have a life.
Yeah, but this is exactly what is going wrong at the moment, because somebody decided that we have to look specifically on that COVID-19 thing. Even though we have hospital viruses here that kill 10 times the people COVID will have killed in the end. So who is actually manipulating the awareness of the people? And when I look at the politicians who truly use wrong terminology on what they are trying to explain, for example, with the PVC testing, which is going on everywhere, the politicians are talking that the results are telling us how many infected people we have. That is not true.
No, we know.
The PVC test is not giving us any information about infection. It only tells us that the body has come in contact with the coronavirus, maybe 1987.
Yes.
So
you're so right. You're so right. You know, you're so right, and of course it's a lot of negativity. We don't know who to believe and what to think, and we can, for the best, we can make the best out of it for ourselves and for our loved ones and for the people on the street. We have to take care of each other more and more, and maybe it will be the start of people taking more care of each other. And I must say, don't want to talk now about politics because I have a lot of seance talk with you. But yes, people, it's about, they always tell me this from the spirit world. Always I get the message, Lonneke, it's all about love, unconditional love, to understand that you're also the other person. You don't live for yourself.
I know that. I know that, Lonneke.
But I know that, and still they're telling it me all the time. This is the answer to all of it. People need to get more understanding, awareness of it. And how can you give these people this awareness? How?
Absolutely.
I don't know.
You know, people who are conditionalized like us, I am speechless when I see the hate on the streets. That has what is a follow-up of that crisis, and I'm speechless in front of it, and I'm thinking, how shall I, or who shall tell, or who shall teach these people with their hate that seemingly coming from the most within places.
Absolutely, and not only in that person, but it's already their generations. Most of the time. This, even if you don't recognize immediately this hate towards another group, it can still be there underground, you know? Only thing that I hope that if there is some situation that I come for, that I will choose the right thing to do. That's only because I'm human as well.
Yeah.
So this is what I hope. But to come back to these seances, because this is something the people who are looking to these videos, our friends who are believers,
of course, you
or
have to
knowers,
cut it out.
you know, they get comfort and they get inspiration out of it. And this is what we need, because if we are inspired, if we are feeling the trust and the comfort and the love from our loved ones who are helping us, can help us only, that's my belief and it's what they tell me, if I stand positive toward my things that I want to look for in the future. Only my little piece, they can help with it, they can give me a little push with it. So if my thoughts go down, if I cry, they cry with me, you know. If I smile and I'm happy and I try to be happy, they will try to help me with that.
Absolutely, and this is because we are, of course, also looking for solutions, and the spirits always tell us that the moment we feel disconnected, a way to get reconnected is actually to tune our thoughts and tune our minds, because the moment we are able to restart to think positive, all these positive spirits will come back and will realign.
Yes.
When we really find ourselves in a world downwards, we have to hold us back ourselves and turn around.
Absolutely.
Then we have to give the example we are usually taking from the spirits or from their teachings or from their positivity.
And it's not always easy, isn't it?
No.
We are humans as well.
Yeah.
What we know, and we know from inside. So I try to stay connected all the time that I can.
Huh? That's never a question. That's never a question.
But this really, to come back to this immense talent that you have, or some call it a gift. You especially are so talented in your seances with the physical, and we were talking last time in the video also about psychokinese and telekinese, and there are some questions to some people, because also poltergeist, it all connects in a way. Some are controlled, some aren't controlled, and it's about moving and manipulating objects and control objects. But would you mind to tell us a little bit more how important it is that if you have these talents and you discover that and you can work with it, how that spirit can work with your talents, with these talents? Do you believe so?
Yeah, first of all, we need to understand that the term telekinesis and psychokinesis is actually coming from a semantic historical development. So in the 30s, they called it telekinesis. Tele means distance, move in a distance, and then they changed it within parapsychology into psychokinesis, so move it with your mind. From the beginning on, no, not necessarily from the beginning on, but the public is sometimes liking to make a difference. There are people who claim that they have a direct access to powers that move objects, and these people are usually called psychokinetics. The other part are people who claim to work with spirits and that the spirits are moving the objects. Usually when you talk to the psychokinetics, you learn that they have controlled spirits as well.
Exactly.
Yes, Uri Geller has...
Yes, he's wonderful. You know, also people sometimes doubt him. You know, he's amazing. Of course he can be a little bit arrogant, but he, in a personality, maybe, some people say so, and maybe it's so, but he is amazing what he can achieve.
Absolutely. He really achieved everything.
Wonderful.
And he is still helping us with everything we would like to give to the people, because he is such an example, right?
Absolutely, like you are.
Yeah, so they have their transpersonal connections as well. In Uri Geller's example, his controlled spirits, or the entities that gave this power to him, or that make that power work within him, are aliens, are ETs again. So in earlier days, these ETs were even flying parallel to his flights when he was flying to the research facilities of the CIA, and he had the experimenters with him. He was able to show them through the plane of the window that there were actually seemingly unidentified aerial objects of some sort. And following Uri, these were the entities that he met in his childhood and who made that psychokinetic power with him going.
Yeah.
So this I don't know how real that difference is between psychics and mediums. So mediums have officially spirits who work with them. Psychics have, they claim, or the public believes, they have own psychic powers, so they don't need the spirits. So
they can connect easily with their doubles, with their who belongs to them, with their this whole psychometric field is full of entities, can connect to you easily or connect to everyone in the world. You don't need to have information from the spirit world to know something about someone.
Yes,
No?
yes, that's true. But this is the difference between psychics and mediums.
Yes,
well,
and they both
officially.
and the mediums also use it, I believe, because I also use both. Not only the mental mediumship, if I in the past I did a lot, and also I use the psychometric field. It's a combination.
Absolutely.
And sometimes I can make mistakes. Sometimes even if I get some information, if it's not truly certain that it's a grandma, then I sometimes get the information on the other way.
That's right. Definitely, this transpersonal, using transpersonal entities can be a technique to enhance own psychic abilities.
Yes.
And moreover, we have found out we are anyway all the time in contact with spirits. We do not need to specifically make a transpersonal rerouting, going the direct psychic way, or make the reroute around via a spirit,
Yeah. And
So
yes.
both can work,
Yes.
right?
But there are also some connections to go back to the psychokinese with healing, I believe. There are some psychokinese can also have something to do with the aspect of healing in it. Don't you
Definitely.
think so?
But
Can you
both
tell
is-
us about it? Can you speak about that, please?
Oh yes. I mean, when we look at the mediumistic tradition, and when we look at the fact that the Western form of medium tradition is just 170 years old, and that all the former forms of mediumistic traditions were mainly shamanistic traditions, right, or medicine man forms of tradition, and they have traditionally focused their power onto healing. Is that mine? Oh, that's mine.
These are the angels.
I thought it is
Angel
ringing on
music.
your side.
Angel music.
Yeah. So, alone from the traditional connections, we have a very strong connection with healing. And I know that these indigenous facilitators, these medicine men, that they directly were using their physical powers they had, with or without spirits, directly for healing. And I mean, in our Western tradition, it's the same. The psychokinesis or the physical in the mediumship can, of course, affect the body as well. Talking about spirits, there are spirits who are helping here, and there are spirits who do not help and say, we don't want to interfere with any karmic development. But we, for example, we do healing sessions quite successfully. I'm always stunned when I hear about the results of our own healing attempts. Of course, not everybody is affected so highly and strongly, but quite a lot, and this is, otherwise we wouldn't do it. Would we recognize nobody is affected by it, we would leave it aside. But we are aware of that connection, and from the beginning on we have integrated healing in the way we work with these powers or with these spirits. So the tradition is there, and in the shamanistical and indigenous environment, in the history of mediumship, it was always be done, and it is still be done.
Yes, and you have one, maybe it's something totally different, but I saw one video of you, I remember, that I believe was a healing session, so if not, that you put something black out of someone's eye. It looks like a little substance what came out. It was not an apport like a manifestation of a stone or something. Do you remember that?
Oh yes, of
What
course.
was that, and how did you know? Did you know in advance what Spirit was trying to do through you?
You know, from the beginning on, we have worked with my grandfather, who was an ophthalmologist, so an eye doctor. Things were treated via the eyes, even though we could not see a connection. Imagine a patient who has a liver problem, but the treatment is still going via the eye.
Really?
Yes, for example. So this is the first example how the eye is in the center of something here. So, and then another treatment is to let the negativity of the illness, the negativity of the symptoms, the negativity of the thought environment when you know you have cancer or something like that. So all the negativity and even the physical aspects, they can be taken out of the body. So the illness is manifesting itself as, or better say, it becomes dense and in an object. And when the healer is taking that object out of the body, the patient has a lot of relief or even healing. The patient has healing from it. Maybe not 100%, but there is definitely a huge step forward. So illness can be focused into a materialized representation of it.
Okay. Some illnesses anyway, some, not, maybe not all, but some of them.
Some, yes.
Yes.
The spirits only do it with some patients.
Yes, exactly. But do you remember this video, and do you remember the let's say the client or the patient or the human that you were helping? Can you explain a little bit more about that special person? Because it's not the name, we don't know who or she is. It was a man, I believe. Can you tell me what was going on with this patient? For what problems you were giving him this healing, and how was it afterwards? Can you share a little bit?
Wenn sie so drum was löst und irgendwo sich konzentriert beginnt, als Film, als Flame oder als fester Körper, nicht mehr fester, wie ein weicher Körper. Der hat Reif bekommen am Auge, als gewandert. Und dann hoffentlich alles das gleich aus, warum du sagst dabei, was du gesagt hast, was nicht der Mist, das verdichtet sich, aber dann hast du es rausgenommen, da hat richtig gemerkt, das weg. Oh ja, das war eine Riesenfrage. Das war nicht.
And the first patient we see in the video came back after the spirits freed him 8 years ago or 7 years ago. He had 30 years ago a bike accident, and he lost 30 years ago all his smelling and all his tasting. And 7 years ago, after he already was for 25 years suffering under not being able to smell, not being able to taste, he came in one of our very first healing sessions, and the spirits were working strongly at him. The result was that his smelling and tasting was back for 80%. So 80%, yes. And this is until today. And when he came for the treatment, when this was taken from his eyes, was many years ago, many years later after this first treatment with his brain. He came because he had stroke-like symptoms with his tongue. He said, something is not right with my tongue, my speech sounds like lame. And during that treatment, he was asked if the spirits should take a blockage from his system, and he of course agreed to, and that was the moment when that object appeared from his eye. The second patient was a patient who had depressions, strong depressions that withheld him from going to work, and that he also was asked, shall we take something from you, like a burden or something, and he said yes. And then this is like slimy or like gum, these black representations of negativity. They are really negative objects, and they have to be burned right after the extraction. They have to be burned. I note that both patients were affected by the treatment. Unfortunately, we are not doing surveys, surveys after the treatment that I could tell you specific numbers. For example, for how many % was this patient helped? Only 20%, or was it 70%?
But they were helped.
But what I can tell you is that approximately, I believe, around 50% of the people feel a clear affection from the treatment.
It's amazing.
With 20%, it is not clear,
yes.
and 30% we don't seem to reach.
Okay.
It's interesting because the one really have results, physical results, and others have none.
Okay.
But of course there are a lot of maybe daily conditions who play in between.
Yes.
It's hard to say.
Yes, it's very interesting because my thinking comes between always, and I'm a trance healer from origin myself. But the taste and the smell is most of the time a nerve problem with someone. So that it helped so much is amazing. And it's great to know, and I know healing does exist. And what people sometimes want, I have pain in my toes right now, and I want you to get it away, and I don't want to know anything more about it. It's not the kind of healing I am so much happy with. But yes, it does exist, and it's wonderful what they can achieve. They cannot bring, if the leg is off, they cannot bring you a new leg, but they can help you to feel better.
Yeah.
If you cooperate, of course, yes. We're talking already quite a while. talked with Julia in a video how grateful spirit are for all the work that you do, and they reward you so now and then with bringing you upwards with gifts in the room, big crystals or lights on the, like you're both telling that. And how often do you experience such beautiful gifts, only personal for you and Julia?
It is very regularly, but there are pauses in between as well. So that's really hard to say how very much often, but it happens regularly, and it does not necessarily bring objects in, but it just has happened in the recent future. My mother had received an apport, and Julia had received an apport outside of seances, and at the moment Julia and I are very much into a meditation protocol in calling ET ships in front of your yard. You can see them coming with their
let them fly by.
Spiritual exercise as well, and we feel rewarded when we see such things. And when we do concentrate onto it, then really the things get weird around us.
Oh yes.
Pardon?
I said, oh yes.
Oh yes. So, imagine, for example, you hear all the time footsteps around you, clearly footsteps, but nobody is there, or pictures at the wall start to change, and you really start to see completely something different on them you just saw half an hour before. Or light phenomena, or touches. We had when we were last time in America, we had an unbelievable experience with an extremely fast flying orb of the size of a basketball, but it was highly lit. We were sitting in a darkened garage having a seance with a friend of us, so only us three, and suddenly that object broke through a window and entered the room. We all could not believe, because we all had never seen a basketball-sized orb glowing, and it flew around us in a very fast manner, and we all saw it, and then it vanished in the bedroom of that lady, and we could not bring the lady anymore to bed because she was afraid of the orb in her. Yeah, so a lot of things. So it's I cannot count it.
And that was in total darkness? That was in total darkness that the orb appeared?
No, it was, no. It was...
Not total dark. Yeah.
This garage had windows where light was falling into, light from street lamps. So it was not at all dark. It was, we could see nearly the whole environment. It was darkened.
Yes.
And in that environment, this object came. And I mean, this was exactly at the shores of Lake Erie. And Lake Erie, like the name is already saying, is a little bit eerie. So we had a UFO sighting there as well at the Lake Erie. And it happens all the time, Lonneke. We just were in Switzerland, and we had a night of sky apparitions, so to speak, and objects that flew in directly over us. Unbelievable, but they were there. These were no visions or hallucinations. These were true things. So it happens all the time, and Julia also could tell endless stories.
I hope she will one day. That she
yes,
will
she
join
will,
us.
for sure.
And for now I will let you go, and I will say goodbye. And then all the members who are looking, well, the participants from our circle, can you unlock your microphone? Can je die microfoon openmaken? Okay, maybe Kai cannot see you directly, but he can hear you. So, if you want to say something to Kai, please do so.
Yes, yes, I will. You're telling amazing stories with the latest question, and I'm very interested in more about it, because I'm also in contact with aliens, and it's more mentally that I had the contacts, and I can feel their energy is very good. At certain moments I get also short messages. It's mostly about love and other stuff, but members of a group of mine can mostly see the beings, and that's very interesting.
Oh so, yes, I hear that. Very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, it's,
so I'm very excited about the last stories you're telling.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Kai, we say thank you. Someone else want to say something to Kai?
Well, it was a very interesting interview. I love the information, and I too would love to hear more about your ET experiences and any connections that you have with those who are mixed humanoids. So I found that fascinating. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you, dear Lonneke, for having us, and you there in the background. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And you at the Zoom, thank you so much as well. And yeah, Lonnie, you know, you only have to contact me and we schedule something new if you like to. So thank you to you, and thank you to Martin as well, who's doing the...
Yes, of course.
The electronics.
Yes, and all the love to Julia. Love and light to you, Kai. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye bye.
Bye. Hello dear friends, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to our Zonneglosses video YouTube channel. You can do that by clicking on the button below. This way you can view all the research videos in the different playlists. For example, the ITC or the EVP, the electronic voice phenomena, and interviews and more. You will not miss anything. And the next video again is with Dr. Dean Radin from the bestseller book Real Magic, and I'm almost sure that you have read it as well. And please do not forget to look our Zonneglosses website on the blog, because every week you will find new experiment photos, especially more than other times because of the COVID-19 period. And if you scroll down, you will see more photos and more comments and reports of seances we have had in the past with our home circle, and we hope to have in the near future, of course. And nowadays the home circle Terra Mystica enjoys a telepathy experiment on Zoom, and we hope to start next year with the Big Slieren ITC experiment as well. So for now, goodbye, see you on Facebook or in the Facebook group. Love and light to you all. Bye.